Welcome to A1R Psychic Radio here on Moonstruck TV with Amanda Hall Psychic all the way from the Gold Coast. Look, I hope you've had an absolutely fantastic week, as most of us had around the world. I mean, people have been sort of inboxing me and telling me, is Mercury really over its retrograde? Because I'm still having issues. I'm still having problems with my TV, my laptop, my computer, my cell phone. And it's interesting because I can put my hand up and say that too. I put in a new system and it's taken me all week to get it to function. But no, Mercury is well and truly definitely going direct. And I think it's a matter of there's just so much activity going on around the world and so much going on planetary-wise. I think we're all sort of just a little tiny bit frazzled. And I think that's probably more what it is than anything, that we're not taking the time to focus, concentrate, maybe read the instructions or really just take a breath and sort of say, okay, let's calm down. Let's look at this in a logical, rational manner, which is what we should all do. But instead we all get, oh, gee, I've only got a limited amount of time. I've got to get this happening. I've got to get that happening. And we run out of time and then we get frazzled is my new favourite word this week. So I think it's interesting because I'm sure it's probably planetary related and there's lots of activity always going on around our universe. But I also think as the world's starting to open up and go back to what's, quote, normal, or what was normal pre-pandemic, and I think that's what it is, that we're all starting to get back into that groove of going into the fast lane again, and we haven't been there for such a long time that I think that we've forgotten to put everything on automatic pilot and just let it happen. We're trying to force things to happen too quickly. So that's where I think it is. I don't think it's really got much to do with Mercury. I mean, yes, Mercury's sitting in Capricorn, but he's certainly not going retrograde at the moment and has been out of the retrograde phase for over a week. So we can't blame Mercury. Maybe we've got to blame it on human error instead. So the Simply Tarot card of the week this week is one of my favourite cards. It's the Sun. Now, the Sun always means brightness and happiness. But the first meaning that I always taught my students with this card is it's the card of marriage. Now, when I use the word marriage, I do mean legal marriage, not living together or living in sin, as some people affectionately call it. This is the actual commitment, the sort of signing of the document that says that we are legally sort of married, that it's a definite sort of commitment. Now, not every time this card comes out are you going to be getting married, but it can be a symbology of something that's very official in your life, maybe something that you need to be signing, or just maybe having a marriage contract with yourself. The secondary meaning is happiness and bright prospects. Now, I always look at this card as bringing some bright, positive things into our lives. If you're having a bit of a grey day or a grey week or a grey month, this is going to illuminate things and bring things into a much more positive sphere, which is absolutely wonderful. And can't we all do with a little bit of brightness and happiness and sunshine in our lives at the moment? It's been such a dark, gloomy world for such a long time as we've been dealing with pandemic issues, and now we've got the situation with Russia and Ukraine, which is alarming to most people around the world, that we all just want peace and we all want to be able to sort of get our economies going and get our lives going again. And then we've got, a man here that wants to sort of play wars with his own people and the people surrounding him. But unfortunately, it's going to involve the rest of the world if he keeps carrying on the way he is. I'm not one to really sort of focus on wars, and I don't particularly want to. I want to sort of take the astrology segment this week away from that, and I want to look at what's actually happening in Capricorn. Now, there's 3 planets sitting in Capricorn at the moment, which, yes, we could relate that to the situation in Ukraine, which I did last week, but I want to focus it more this week on a personal situation, on the way that it affects each and every one of us as individuals as we go about our day-to-day lives. So the beginning of the trifecta, or the 3 planets sitting together, all holding hands or conjunct, known in astrology terms, are Venus, Mars, and Mercury. Now, they're all sitting in the energy of Capricorn. So Venus is the planet of love and affection. Yes, it can be the top planet where we look for love in our lives, romantic relationships, and the loving energy we share with the people that are around us, and, our family, our friends, our co-workers, people in our little local environment. But more importantly, I like to look at Venus as the planet of love, in the way with the things that we love to do, the things that give us pleasure, the things that put a smile on our face. So we've got Venus leading the charge. So Venus is asking us to dig deep into our soul, into our body, into our mind, and ask ourselves, what is it that's going to put a smile on our face? What is going to make us feel incredibly radiant, that's going to make us sort of glow? It's asking us to look for what's going to make us happy. Now, that could be many, many things. Some people say to me, oh, it's my children, it's my partner, it's my job, it's the painting I love to do, or swimming, or walking in the bush, or going for a jog down by the river. There's many, many things that can put passion into our lives and put a smile on our face. So it may not be any one particular thing. It may be a collective group of things that make you feel loved and feel happy inside yourself, that you've got this loving, glowing energy about you. Now, Venus is actually holding hands or conjunct Mars. Now, Mars is the planet of action. Mars is actually one of my favourite planets, because every time I look for Mars in someone's chart, I sort of feel that I can get to know someone a little bit better. What drives them? What makes them get out of bed of a morning? What makes them tick? What makes them smile? What makes them sad? Mars is very definitely the planet there that we look for those sort of answers. And where you find Mars in the chart, or where you find Mars in whatever energy it's in, it shows you how determined that person is. It shows you their ability to handle a crisis, their ability to be able to be determined in a way that they can finish a project. You know, are they somebody that starts something with great gusto and then all of a sudden they burn out halfway through, or pass the baton on to someone else? So Mars is a very important planet in our chart, because it does show us how we get motivated. Have we got the stickability to see something through to the bitter end? Have we got the ability to make things happen? Have we got the ability to motivate other people around us? So when you've got Venus, the planet of love and affection, holding hands with Mars, saying, come on, let's get some action happening here. Let's really put our energy into the things that make you smile, the things that are going to make you happy. And it's something that we can all sort of do for ourselves, even if it's only a very small project. It might be something small that you can achieve that's really going to give you that sense of satisfaction. So the next planet that we're holding hands with or conjunct is Mercury, which is the planet of communication and where we get our thought patterns from, and our ability to be able to communicate and share our message or our information with other people. And again, Mercury is very important in a chart, because it shows us how we communicate. And not all of us are great communicators. Not all of us find it easy to get up and give a speech in public, or even have a conversation with our loved ones. Sometimes we find that very difficult too. So it's interesting here where we've got Venus, the planet of love and affection, asking us to do something that's going to put a smile on our face. Mars is telling us that we have the stickability, the determination, the energy to make it happen. Now, Mercury's saying we can communicate this, we can share it with the people that are most important to us. And for many people, that might be we need to bring other people involved into our little project, or maybe we're starting a new business. It doesn't matter what it is that you're looking to do, as long as it's going to make you feel fulfilled inside, it's going to put a smile on your face, you've got the determination and the energy there to make it happen. And now you have the ability to communicate or to share with people your vision, your knowledge, your wisdom, the opportunity for this to happen, that, you know, maybe you need to get other people's approval or get people on board. Well, you've got the opportunity now to present it to people in a very logical, practical and down-to-earth manner, because that's what the Capricorn energy is. Yes, it governs big business. Yes, it governs the official areas of our lives, but it also brings with it tremendous stability. It brings with it, you know, this ability to build something on the rock, you know, not on the quicksand. So we have a really golden opportunity at the moment, I feel, for many people that are making changes around the world. And I know there's lots of you that are doing that. I know I did a show yesterday out of New York, and the general theme of that show was people were sort of starting to sort of want to begin new projects in their lives. And for many people, it was also the fact of sort of coming to terms with losing somebody through this pandemic. But it was about not wasting a second of their life, that they were motivated, they were enthusiastic, they were excited about getting out there and really doing something constructive with their lives. And maybe things that they'd put on the back burner or didn't have enough confidence to do before are saying, to hell with it, I'm going to give this a go. And this is what this Capricorn energy is about. about is it's not always about right or wrong or whether we're going to be hugely successful or famous or make $1 million out of it. It's having a go. And it's giving us that satisfaction on the inside that money just can't buy. So we also sort of have opportunities for us to really, really, really sort of, I think, get our voices heard at the moment. We've still got Saturn sitting in Aquarius. So Saturn is still sort of asking us to be disciplined in a way or look for new innovative ways to problem solve, to find solutions, that things that we approached in the past or the ideas or the history of the past isn't necessarily the way going forward. To find solutions to the things that are troubling us now, we need to approach the new areas of our life with a different form of discipline. Maybe think outside the square, find some innovative, different ways of finding a solution to a problem, and then try and apply it. But first of all, let's not ignore anything that comes into our mind that might seem silly or scatty or whatever. It may just be the sequence that is going to lead us to the solution. So all ideas that come into our mind aren't necessarily a waste, and they aren't necessarily frivolous or flippant. We need to give them merit because they will lead on to the next set of ideas. It's just the beginning point. I'm really excited to say that the sun's moved into Pisces, so it's the really gentle time of the year in some ways, with the energy being in Pisces. I always feel that it's a time when we all become a little bit more psychic. We all become a little bit more in tune with ourselves, regardless of our star sign, because it's the final part of, it's like, if you look at our calendar year, when we get to November, December, we get excited. We're going into the holiday season. We sort of feel that the year is winding up, that we look back and we say, this is what I've achieved, that's what I didn't achieve. And we sort of slow down a little bit in a very, very hectic time of the year in a way to sort of reflect a little bit. Well, this is the astrological end of the year, is the Pisces time. So it gives us time to reflect at what we've achieved in this last 12 months. Did we achieve our goals? Did we get where we wanted to go? And are we happy with the progress that we're making? And sometimes this is when I believe we get our strongest psychic flashes. We get some guidance or some opportunities coming our way for what we need for the future. So it's good. It's a really, really positive time of the year. We've got the sun conjunct Jupiter, so our dreams and our aspirations are certainly within grasp. Don't set the bar too low, set it high and aim for the stars, because you may just make it there. We also still have Neptune, the ruling planet of Pisces, sitting in Pisces, which is adding to our creativity. For many of you may find you've been a little bit daydreamy or wanting to sort of just watch a little bit more of that movie that you've got to get back to work, but I'll just give it another 5 minutes. I'm really enjoying it. Or for many of you, it can be, music or anything artistic, anything creative is really sort of coming to the forefront. So honour that, because it is the very creative time of the year too. And it is a time when I think we can lose ourselves in the things that give us pleasure. So we're going to talk with Bridget in Missouri in USA, in Haiti. Are you there, Bridget?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have a question I can work with, please, Bridget?
Well, I was wanting to connect to my ex James, if possible, or my cousin Emily, who passed.
Darling, I can't always guarantee that we can sort of connect with who you want to speak to in a very quick space of time. What I can suggest to you is that if there's something that's troubling you that you would like answered, I will attempt to answer that for you. And if they decide to chime in, I will pass on the message from you. We don't always necessarily have to be getting direct guidance from the people that have passed over. Their role is really to just watch over us. It's to sort of, yes, occasionally to put something into our head that sort of might be an idea or a suggestion of where we should go. But really and truly, their role is not to try and control or dominate us or guide us, but to enhance our lives and to just know that they're there with us, that they don't ever really leave our side. They're aware of what's going on in our world and, they're there to support us or guide us, but they don't really have the right to tell us what to do or say on Friday you should go down the road and buy a blue car. That's not their role. So do you have something that's troubling you in your life? Are you looking for a new direction or a new job or something along those lines, Bridget?
Really, I'm just looking for anything that you feel to tell me. I've just had a hard time coping. with their loss. So,
Oh, look, I can understand that, sweetie. And look, grief is one of those very personal things. There's no bus timetable for when we sort of wake up one day and say we're in a comfortable spot with our grief. Some people, it's only a matter of weeks. Some people, they never achieve that. It can go on for many, many years. The first thing that they were sharing with me is that there's definitely an ending and a change and a transformation coming up, Bridget. So I think the major part, or the really raw part of your losses, I think is going to slowly start to become behind you now. I'm not saying you're going to be completely jumping for joy, but you're certainly going to have that real intensity is going to start to ease. They're also showing me that it's time now to start to get things in order in your life. I think there's been a number of things that you've pushed to one side because you haven't had the energy or the inclination to sort of go back to and reignite your passion in some areas. And it's like it's now slowly that's going to start to come back. I'm looking at from May this year, you're going to start to really feel very energized again and sort of start to feel as if the sky's blue again. I've got things to look forward to. I'm starting to feel happy in myself. I'm starting to feel motivated again. And it's interesting, the two people that you asked me about that you wanted to make connection with, both of those are sharing with me that, you know, they really love you and they miss you, but they're also both sharing with me that they're going to come and visit you in your dreams. So it's not something that I can necessarily tell you which day they're going to arrive in your dreams, that just that they're sharing with me that they've got some personal things that they want to talk about or share with you. And they may not be earth-shattering. They may just be something that was a special memory between the two of you, but they are going to share it with you in your dreams. And it's something that's going to, I think, start to build in momentum over the next couple of months, because they, like you, are missing that earthly connection that you shared together, and they want to be able to sort of reconnect in that way too, because it also helps them with their growth and their journey on the other side. Don't just think because they pass through to the other side, they sit up there in the angel cloud and that's it, they got nothing to do. From my understanding and my belief and working in this area for so many years, is that they have work to do on the other side. They have a set of projects that they have to achieve. And sometimes part of that is helping us, is to connect with us here on earth, is to sort of be able to relive or reconnect in a way that, you know, is sharing some of the earthly experiences we had together. And it's sort of, they all have different roles. And if they were a teacher here on earth, they still become a teacher on the other side. So they don't completely change in their personality, or the things that were important to them here are still important on the other side. So look out for signs, Bridget, things that, you know, there might be a song on the radio or some words in a movie or even something on the news that sort of catches your attention and you think, oh, gee, that reminds me of, you know, grandma, or that reminds me of somebody that's passed over. Well, that's their way of connecting with you and just sort of showing you that they are still there. But I know you've got a much better year coming up this year. The sadness will pass and it will, you know, be replaced by some beautiful, happy memories and remembering happy times and being able to feel joy in your heart again. So that's where we're going to leave Bridget in Missouri. We're going to go to Michelle in Ever Beach in Hawaii. Oh, what a nice part of the world, Michelle.
Aloha.
Michelle, do you have a question I can work with, please, sweetie?
Yes, I wanted to see if you see a change of job for me. I'm trying to see if I can get the job at Hawaiian Airlines as a flight attendant.
Oh, what a wonderful job. Okay. Yeah, look, I think there's still a little bit of waiting time there with that, Michelle. So far, has it been a difficult process? Has it been lengthy? Has it been something that was harder than what you imagined it would be to sort of even get this far with the application?
I'm a flight attendant for American Airlines for quite a few years. So, yes, I've been trying to get into I used to be a flight attendant for Hawaiian Airlines way back.
I just sort of felt that this process was more difficult than what you imagined it would have been. It's like I've had to jump through a lot of hoops to even get this far.
Yes.
And has that been exaggerated a bit more by the pandemic and sort of, you know, restrictions with planes flying to different locations? Has that made the process even harder?
Yeah, well, they just opened up their application. So I put one in. So I just haven't heard anything yet. So I'm still waiting.
Oh, no, look, I feel you're going to be successful, but what they keep showing me is it's not going to be a fast process. It's like, some days you're going to think, is this all worth it? It seems like I've waited so long, or I've had to put in extra information or whatever. It's just, I feel what they're trying to do now is the people that they're looking to employ now to engage right across the flight crew, they're going to pick the eyes out of applications. They're looking for the ultimate, the cream of the cream. And
Right.
that's what you're going to come across as, that, you've got all this experience. You have worked with them before. So you've already got a little bit of inside knowledge of how the company actually functions, even though there may have been changes since
Right.
you left. But to me, it's like going home. It's like the day I put that uniform on for the first time, it's like I can breathe a sigh of relief. Oh, I'm home. It's good. It's a good, solid feeling. And I feel this is where you're going to be until you decide to retire from the workforce. And I don't know that you're necessarily not going to be in the air. I think that's one of your passions. I think you really enjoy that part of the job. For you to go into a teaching or a training role wouldn't be as exciting or as thrilling or make your heart sing. Like you enjoy being with the people. You enjoy that role of, attending to people and making sure the flight goes as well as it can and all those sort of things. That's when you're at your happiest. And that's a good thing. It's wonderful when you find what you're meant to do.
Exactly. Oh, so you see that coming up for me sometime?
I do, but I don't think it's going to be before June, sweetie. It's sort of like there'll be a couple of other things that they'll ask you to submit, and it's like, but I've already done that. Look, just go along with it. If they ask you for something in triplicate, give it to them in triplicate. If that's what they require, it's almost like dealing with an insurance company. You're waiting to get a payout and they keep asking all these stupid questions and they drag it out and they drag it out in the hopes that you'll give up. Well, it's a little bit what they're doing here, because I think they've had so many applications, they really haven't got time to process them all. And it's like, if you can get to this next level and then that next level, then you're in in with a chance, because they really want people that are determined, that are strong, that aren't going to give up on the vision, aren't going to give up on the dream. So will your work be taking you internationally?
Possibly, yes. They do fly international.
Yeah, but that seems to me to be where your focus is going to be. It may not have been, I didn't feel that was necessarily your first preference, but this seems to be where they feel that your expertise can be put to the best use. Do you know what I mean? That you've got so much experience that you would be able to sort of be the head air hostess, if we want to put it that way, the one that, has other people answer to in the flight crew, that you've got the experience that you wouldn't buckle under any sort of untoward flight. Do you know what I mean? If you had a difficult passenger, you would know how to nip that in the bud very quickly. You've got this very calming but very strong sort of presence that you make everybody feel safe and secure. And that's why I think they're going to look towards sort of, there'll be a mixture of local stuff, but predominantly more it'll be international travel. And what they're sort of coming to you with is saying, look, this is what we propose. And if you're agreeable to, XYZ amount of flights a month on an international level, they seem to be prepared to pay you a little bit more money than the going rate, because they believe that you'd be able to handle what they consider the more difficult flights, or the ones where people drink too much on or whatever, you know what I mean? I'm sure there's flights that nobody wants to take, and you'll be handed those ones because of your experience and your expertise. And I know you're going to handle it really well, Michelle. I just see you back in your element, and your heart's singing, you're home again. You love it.
Yes. That's exactly what I'm hoping for. Oh, my goodness. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
but you've
you.
worked hard to get back here, Michelle. It's not something you got out of bed one morning and decided, oh, that'd be nice. You've really worked hard to try and make your way back there, and you've searched your soul, and you've looked at everything, and this is the only thing that really brings you joy in your heart, and that's what we need to be achieving. I think we've all been through so much with the pandemic that now we've really got to look at what's going to bring joy in our heart. What are we going to get out of bed and be excited to do the tap dance for? And this is this is what it is for you. And that's wonderful. And you're really natural at it. I believe everybody has a real natural career. And if you're lucky enough to find it, you hang on to it.
That's right. Oh, I'm so excited. Okay.
So you should be. It's going to be wonderful. And, you know, you'll get to meet some very interesting people along the way, which is good. So that's where we're going to leave Michelle. So Michelle's a classic example of what I spoke about at the beginning of the show, of finding your passion and really putting the determination in and, you know, put your communication skills to good use and make your dreams a reality, because this is the time when we can make these things happen. And for many of us, we sort of tend to think, oh, I'll put that off until tomorrow or the next day. We shouldn't be doing that. We should be making our voice heard and really understanding what it is that's going to make us happy and make us, you know, really sort of want to get out there and make magic in our lives. And, you know, it's a time to sort of really look after yourself and sort of make things happen in your life and be able to do the things that will bring you the most joy. And, you know, we've got enough outside distractions around the world at the moment that I think we can now take a little bit of time and be a little bit selfish and really start to look at what's going to make us happy. So in the next 7 days, try and put a smile on your dial. Try and make somebody else's day a little bit easier by doing something nice for them and, you know, really trying to be upbeat and positive and sort of, you know, look for life to be a positive, wonderful experience. And the song I'm going to leave you with this week is an old classic. And it's one of my favourites, and it's a very, very old song, and I'm showing my age here. It's from the Beatles, and it's called The Long and Winding Road. And I think for many people, there's lots of answers in that song this week. So until next week, bye for now.